Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Evan. I'm a dumb dad.
Hey, everybody. My name is Kevin. I'm a dumb dad.
It's 100 degrees. It's gone to my head. I'm so tired. I'm so hot. We'll get into that. I have a double dumb dad moment for you this week. Let's get all the way into it.
I love it. It is very hot this week. Just before you got here, the AC was on, and I had to do that thing where I check to see, is it just set to on? Because I was like, it's been on for a long time.
Yeah.
And I looked, and it was just struggling. And we keep it at 78 because California,
you're eco-friendly.
But all the things.
Yeah. You want to give back a little bit?
And my house was just struggling to hold that.
Here's what I've learned about living in California, Southern California. The hottest part of the day is not noon or 1 or 2.
No, that was an adjustment when I lived in Massachusetts. Yeah. It was noon.
Yeah, the hottest part of the day is between the hours of 3 and 5.
Yep.
And I feel like...
Which is terrible when you're a parent, because that's when you're just over the day.
Yeah. The most overwhelming part of the day is parallel with the heat. And the overwhelming part of the heat of the day. And... like the longer the summer goes, it always feels like this is the same way. A bunch of years in a row, you get into like April and May, and you think like these are nice days. Mm-hmm. June gloom seems to be arriving early. I hope it stays, and it stays, and blah blah blah. And June, it really is like kind of overcast until about 11. Yeah, and then the sun comes out, but really there's not too much time in the rest of the day for it to really burn the heat on you. And it feels like this is nice. Like I could take these cool mornings, then it heats up the rest of the day, but it's not too hot. But just like the summer heat does here, it gets hot late. And it really feels like you're in the throes of summer, late July, August, and halfway through September. It's really when you're like, let's focus on some indoor activities. Yeah. Because it's triple digits at 3 p.m.
Yeah, it's been really, really hot. And it was my parents, who I've talked about before. They live in the Palm Springs area. And I texted my dad
2116 Bedford Avenue. That's their address.
Wait, what? There's no way to edit that out. Well, guess we gotta move again.
Google's your best friend. Send a letter to him.
Now the mafia knows. They've been listening to this podcast for years, waiting for us to slip up.
They've been tapped in.
They're very polite mafia. They don't break legs. They're like, I'm just gonna wait for him to make that mistake on his own, and then we'll get them.
Hey, listen, we got time.
Yeah. But I texted my dad last week, and I was like, hey, I think we're going to come this weekend. It's probably the last weekend we can come visit before school starts, and that way we don't have to, like, when I visit my parents when school starts, it's like get there on Saturday, leave on Sunday. It's the worst because
that's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but if traffic's bad,
2-hour
and
drive,
it's a 5-hour drive, then suddenly it's like, well,
it can go quickly from a 2-hour and 25-minute drive to a 5-hour and 15-minute drive if you go at the wrong time. Exactly. I get that. So
my dad was like, are you insane? It's going to be so hot here. And I went, well,
it's going to be hot here.
What's 10 more degrees, my guy?
With a pool in the backyard.
With a pool. So yeah, we went there.
The answer is all the difference in the world, which is why we're coming.
All the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Something to do outside? Impossible.
Yeah. In what world?
So on Alive last week, I said when I was going to my parents, I was going to get out a cast iron and leave it out in the roasting sun and throw an egg out there.
Oh, I forgot about this.
It was still like 115. But it was overcast the whole time. And I was like, I'm not going to waste.
Humid heat, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a humid heat-ish for the desert, whatever that means. So I was like, it's not really worth it.
1.5% humidity? I'm sweating already.
But it was, I was like, I was so bummed because I was really
disappointing
to do it. I just didn't do it. I just knew it never got. I feel like it needs to be a direct heat for the pan to get that sizzle.
Get your dad to do it. Will your dad do it and send us a video?
Yeah, he'll do it. I think he's done it. He said he's
calling on you, bud.
He said he's done it before.
I would love the footage.
Well, he's also got one of those little chef laser guns. Where you see how hot the pan is.
I have one of those. like a laser thermometer.
Yeah, laser thermometer. So he was like, "Oh yeah, let's do that."
Yeah.
But then it just never.
The next thing you know, he's gonna do the dad thing, walking around his property, going, the top of the garbage can was 141.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, the rocks over here are hotter than the other area. Would you come
Must
inside?
be a breeze.
You're gonna pass out.
Yeah. You're delusional out there. This week has been pretty good. It really felt like, man, I can't wait till school gets here.
Are you getting there?
A little bit.
Yeah.
This week felt like I'm at the peak of it. The downhill adjustment starts tomorrow. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But I've had both of it. I've had I feel like I'm running out of ideas, man. Somebody's got to take these kids for more than 6 hours for me.
Sure.
But I feel like, I'm an emotional guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I think the closer we get to school, I'm going to start thinking, did we do all we can? Did we, did we make the most of the summer? And I think we really have done a good job of that so far. But, it's like when you go on vacation and when it's time to leave the house and lock the door, all you think is I know I'm forgetting something. Mm-hmm. I know I left something on the table. Yeah.
Every time.
So it's been a little bit of that for me. So this week,
if you're on a family vacation and you leave, if it's a smooth walkout,
oh yeah, that's a major problem.
Even the worst part is you get in the car and you go, "Boof, we all got in the car around the same time." That's not good.
Yeah,
somebody's supposed to be in there for long enough for you to go, "What are they doing in there?"
It's exactly the same thing. Like when it's quiet in the house, your kids are up to absolutely no good.
Yeah, but it's the opposite of if everyone gets in the car and everything's great. It's like, did we forget the suitcase? What don't we have?
The one thing that we said, don't forget this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it felt a little bit like that. And so this week I was kind of focusing on almost like a little reset midway through summer. I think we're a little bit past midway through. I'm not really sure. But it felt like a little bit midway through summer.
Way past midway.
Way past. And let's make sure we're picking something to do every day. It's really hot, so let's do something in the morning, go to the playground at 9 a.m. and come back, do a little bit of, we're kind of trying to get a little bit of give me 30 minutes of a workbook just to keep our mind busy.
Sure.
It's so difficult to do that, to get the kids to commit to let's make sure this is fun. It's fun to practice math, but at the same time, I just
well, when you say it like that, how do they resist?
Yeah. The carrot on the end of a hook on a fishing line is not enough for you. I'm dangling it right in front of you. It's a carrot.
Yeah, it's a carrot. They're
children. It's a carrot.
What is wrong with you?
So, but yeah, I'm excited. The Women's World Cup has started. I'm wearing my really old school men's jersey.
So not supporting at all.
Well, the T-shirt I have that I bought to support them is dirty.
There it is.
So we're excited about that. We watched the match tonight, and it just feels good. It feels like, let's own the rest of summer, but also let's get to August and get these kids the hell out of here.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like where we are.
It's at that point. We've had a pretty adventurous summer. I mean,
you guys have done a pretty good job. I'll say you guys really took advantage of your wife being off work, and
we did a lot of
traveling.
I think we did a lot of what a lot of people have done going through COVID. And my wife was off work. His production had nothing to do with the strikes, but our production was dark or whatever. And so we had some time. Yeah, we took advantage of it. We went on a bunch of vacations, visited people, and now she's back to work.
Yep.
So no vacations.
Yeah, you're a week back of
it's
up to dad only getting the snacks.
Yeah, it was funny because today as we're recording this Tuesday, was I took my son to get his vaccines because he's starting school.
Oh, you got to load up before official school starts, man.
And it wasn't a dumb dad moment, but it was definitely oh, you're rusty, buddy. You're rusty.
You had your foot off the gas a little bit?
Yeah, it was just rusty. It was just, cobwebs. It was, I got the kids up and made them breakfast. My wife was at the gym. And then get them dressed and ready. And then I was like, you're both going to come with me, but we're going to get my son his vaccines because he's starting public school. So he has to check off all the ones on the list.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're going to come with me. Mom's got to start work and shower, and you're not going to be able to play
Both
with
kids
it.
are coming with me.
Both kids are coming. Yeah. And they were like, cool, no problem. And then we go to get in the car, and they're like, can we have screens? And I was like, no, we're not going to need screens. We're just going to go to the doctors, get that, come back. Trust me, it's going to be really hot later. and I'm going to be super loose about screens.
Yeah. When I can't think straight because
Yeah.
it's so hot outside and I just hand you something with a screen on it,
Yeah.
go nuts.
So we went to the doctors. He got his 2 vaccines. He handled them pretty well. He got both his shots.
Uh-huh.
It was very funny. My daughter was doing this thing, and I think all older siblings do this. I'm sure your son does too, where they're trying to be supportive and not helping at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. So it's
And
hard to watch sometimes, but it's also
it's
cute
so
to watch because
cute.
the intention is there.
Intention's there. But so she's just sitting next to him, and they have that like spray that I'm convinced doesn't work, but I love it. I love the idea of it. If they say it's a numbing spray, I'm like, is this real? And they're like, no, it's real. And my daughter goes, does not work. Like my daughter swears up and down, doesn't work. She feels it.
They don't do that where we go, which I think is funny that it happens where you go. But I also understand, like, you ever taken like a
Because it's
like
probably
an air,
just
like
water.
an air canister that you like spray your keyboard with, whatever, like a compressed air canister. If you flip it upside down, is it nitrous oxide? I'm not sure. Comes out.
It's cold.
Which
yeah.
is kind of like, that's what it is. But like, to understand that like within 2 seconds, if I'm going to spray something on your arm that's going to make it numb, that's going to hurt. That's going to be shocking as well.
Right.
So like, just stick a needle in there.
Right. It's like when you get
Just get it over
getting
with.
Novocaine at the dentist. It's just like one of them's going to hurt really bad.
Yeah.
This one will be a shorter time, and then you'll bite your tongue for the rest of the day. But so we're sitting there, and
Don't drink water.
my daughter just keeps saying to my son, so my daughter's older, son younger, and my daughter just keeps saying, hey, it's just going to hurt for a second, okay? It's not going to hurt that long. She's just going to put a needle inside of your arm, and it's going to hurt, but it's going to be so quick.
It's going to be like a roughly 18, 19 gauge needle penetrating the surface of your skin.
It's got to be big enough to have a hole in it so liquid can travel through the sharp metal that is inside your body.
Yeah, it's not like a sewing needle. There's a tube. It's going to deliver a serum into your body. Do you understand? The antigens. Hey, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
Stop looking at the thing.
Don't freak out, though. If you move, they'll catch the bone, and that's a whole other can of worms.
Why are you crying? This is there. You get stickers at the end.
But she was saying it, and it was just taking everything I had, not to be like, stop talking.
Do you ever do that to her? Not that. I know you don't do that.
Sure. No.
I do that to my son. We're like, bud, you're not helping. Let's put a cap on it.
I think mine is hey. Thank you.
Yeah, something like that where it's like I see your intention. I hear your intention.
Yeah.
Not nailing it.
Or the other one is hey, I think you got it. I think you got it.
I think he got it. Yeah, he got it. Yeah.
Thank you. So
he's crying because he over understands what the picture you've been painting.
So the big moment for me that I thought was very, oh man, you're out of practice. Wife's been home too long. School's been out for too long. Was like, then we got in the car. His appointment was 8:45. We were probably out of there by 9:10 at the latest. Maybe even 9:05 because it was just vaccines. It wasn't a checkup.
It's only 93 outside at that point.
But I was like, I got nothing on me. I don't have.
You got no plan for the day?
I had no plan for the day. I was like, I could have had a backpack, like old me, backpack full of snacks, water bottles filled to brim with ice and water.
Up for anything.
Like, change of clothes, like, okay, guys, what are we going to do? We're close to here. And then it was just kind of like, all right, you guys want to, and we ended up going to Discovery Cube. But I had to call my wife and be like, hey, I'm coming home. Can you just pack a backpack? Because the last thing I want is for these kids to unbuckle themselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
This has got to be.
You can't afford that.
In fact, I'll call you when I'm up the street. I need you at a full sprint, chucking that thing through the window.
Yeah. I'm going to pace it out at about 7 miles an hour. Can you match me? I just need a toss in the passenger window like we're Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And I've never seen you before, and I'll never see you again.
Yeah, because I was glad I made that call. At least the cobwebs were kind of clear by this point.
I made that
call.
It kicks in pretty quick.
Kicks in pretty quick. I was just like, kicked myself. Like I was just like, just the thought. I was like, I've had this before. I remember one time I went to the DMV that turned into like a zoo trip because I was prepared. Like I've had these like doctor's office, then the zoo, doctor's office, and travel to doctor's office, and aquarium, wherever.
Yeah.
And this time you were just like, oh God, you get it together, man.
Get your life in order, man.
You still have the rest of the day.
Oh.
But we made it.
Well, let's jump into it. Let's jump into the meat and potatoes.
To the dumb dad moments. We need to have like an audio or graphic or something.
Let's get into the dumb dad moments. Mine is I'm kind of excited to tell you about this one because it's going to give you an absolute clear runway to destroy me.
Well, we'll see.
For having.
We'll see. You're setting it up too much.
But I'm intimidating you by giving you a blank piece of paper.
Try to get a little too in front of it.
Yeah. So here's the deal. So I know you. We are Nintendo kids. We played Nintendo for a long time. We both been playing Tears of the Kingdom, the new Zelda game. If you haven't heard of it, wake up, San Francisco. It's super fun. Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, Nintendo Zelda franchise. Incredible games. I maintain that Breath of the Wild is like the best game ever made. I've played every single one of them. Trust me. Don't quote me on that.
Don't at me.
Yeah. Just trust me. But Tears of the Kingdom is like the same, but it's like 3 times as big. It's great. So I was chatting with you about this before. Like when you love playing, I'm not a gamer. I don't play all the time, but I have the games I like to play, and when I have time to play them, I love playing them. And I've been looking to play Tears of the Kingdom more because I don't get to play it a lot, and it's a huge game.
Yes,
and my son loves it.
That's why you don't get to play it.
We have a Nintendo Switch. We have one Nintendo Switch. My son loves playing Tears of the Kingdom and other Nintendo Switch games. And I don't ever feel comfortable just sitting down at like 1 p.m. and ignoring my kids when my wife is working and just like my time is game time. It just doesn't work like that, right? So
hey.
So
just try it once for the podcast.
But for content, and for the experience. And or when it feels like an opportune time when it's like when we've had a busy morning and it's triple digits outside and it's time to just, let's enjoy the AC.
Exactly.
And you can have some screen time or video game time for a while. I mean, he's playing it. So I don't just sit down and go, all right, my turn, So last night kind of a long day, not in a bad way, but just a long day, hot outside, kids were tired. My wife gets up really early for work. And so put the kids to bed. She kisses me goodnight at 9:40 p.m. Okay, everybody calm down.
Get the kids away.
Yeah, on the lips too, by the way.
Stop.
She gives me a kiss 9:40 p.m. She's like, I'm going to bed. I was like, okay, good night. This is my opportunity. This is when I can sit down, plug my headphones into it.
Yeah.
Can't be disturbed. And I can play uninterrupted my own game, right? I forced myself to go to bed at 1:15 in the morning.
Oh, no.
I know. And could have played for so much longer. When you're locked in on something you like, you could be sitting there for so long.
You went to bed 20 minutes before your daughter was about to come into your room.
Correct. And that might have been the thing that scared me the most.
Goblin.
Yeah. So there's a dumb dad moment for you. But the real dumb dad moment was, so to give it the quickest explanation I can give you is there's these, in the big, huge map of this game, there's what are called shrines. And they're almost they're like these rooms that you go in, and the room is a puzzle. To get to the end of the room where there's usually a gate or something you need to get through, you have to solve a puzzle.
Classic Zelda.
And, I beat Breath of the Wild. I love that game. And so I'm pretty well rehearsed in figuring it out. And there were some times where I couldn't figure it out, and I came back to it and whatever. So there was this shrine I'm playing, and pretty simple concept.
Yeah.
Where you can put things together in this game. You can build a platform, and then one of the things you specifically build early in the game is a hot air balloon situation where you take a flamethrower and attach it to a balloon and a board, and you can stand on it, and it'll just start floating once you start the flame. Anyway, that's kind of what this shrine is about. You walk into the room, you're on this floor, and the estimate would be if Link is regular size, it's 50 feet above you is the next level. How do you get there? Well, there's a platform and a flamethrower and a balloon.
Yeah.
If I build these, I bet I can float up there and get to. That's exactly what you do, and it makes a little do 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 do. You've accomplished this part of the shrine. The next part of the shrine, you're on a new level, and there's the metal gate. You need to get inside the metal gate. Okay, that's what I have to do. And I probably spent between an hour and 90 minutes in this shrine over the course of 3 or 4 attempts of playing the game, just thinking, what am I supposed to do here?
Yeah.
How do I get to the second level
so
that I can open the gate? Like, I can't figure out how to do it. So I get to the second level, but then the gate's still closed. And I can't figure out, like, what I'm supposed to do. And I've tried all kinds of things to the point where, like, if you play, if you've ever done like an escape room, or I know you guys like to play these too. They're called Exit the Game.
They're the best.
It's like I love Exit the Game.
Great date night. Kids are in bed.
We should put those in our Amazon store.
They will be by the time this podcast comes out. They're like $12. It's they're one-time use.
Yeah, one-time use because you're like cutting up part of the game and adding things together. It's like an
great.
exit, like
Kids go to bed. Want something to do other than watch
it's
TV.
Like a great date
and there's
night
no
thing.
shade on the TV. We do it most nights, almost every night. But it's a good one of like date night. It's not watch TV. It's play that. Exit. Those are
good little fun, like kind of 2-hour fun little thing. So anyway, so it's sort of like that where you're like thinking, got to think outside the box, think outside the bun. There's a Taco reference for you.
We're cutting that. You pay
so
for it.
You're figuring out like, what do I do here? So I'm in this room and I can't figure out how to get out of it. And I've like 3 separate attempts of 30 to 45 minutes playing, and I cannot figure out what to do. And I'm thinking like, I know at this point I'm overthinking it. I'm thinking of like stupid details. Like I'm way overthinking this.
Yeah.
The same thing is available to you. Platform, flamethrower, balloon, but if you just float up to the top, there's like a platform up there. But I did that about 25 times to gain the perspective. There's nothing up there. I don't know what to do. And I feel like, how am I not figuring this out?
Right.
What is wrong with me? So then I turn on the game. My son's like, can I just watch you play to see what you have on your... He's always very interested in, what does your character have? What does my character have? So I turned it on. And I was like, yeah, maybe you can help me, man. I'm in this shrine and I literally don't know what to do. He watches me play it for like less than 10 minutes. And he's like, above the door, there's a button.
Oh.
You should just make the balloon and then have the balloon float to the button, and it'll press the button and then the gate will open. And he said it, and I was like, okay, well. And that's exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was.
Are you retired?
A symbol above the door. You have your character look up. There's a symbol there. Like Da Vinci Code bad. Where it's like, hey, if you haven't figured out what's been going on, we're going to highlight it so we're all on the same page. That's what it was like.
Crucifix.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, man, thank you so much, as I like shriveled inside because I felt so stupid.
Don't feel stupid. That's not nice. Feel old. You can't play video games anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Still, I absolutely still wax him on Mario Kart. So I'm holding on to that until
the arthritis
kicks in. Yeah. But that's my dumb dad moment. It was just like it was humbling. I know I feel stupid. It was super humbling to gain like a kid's perspective. Like I knew that I was overthinking the moment. Yeah. I'm like looking at all these possibilities, going through my inventory. Should I build something? Do I need to do this? Am I not? There's these dots on the ceiling. I'm like making the balloons float to the top and touch the dot. Did that do anything? Did it make a noise? And he's like, there's a button above the door, you dummy.
Yeah. Don't approach kids' video games the same way you approach why your sink is leaking. Because you don't have to replace the whole vanity. Just buy a washer. That's all it is. And you decided to just go.
Yeah, I went like, let's redo the bathroom.
Yeah, you redid the bathroom at the shrine, and they're like, we gave you. Yeah. You bought like a kit.
Yeah,
you walked in. Yeah. All the pieces were there.
You bought a kit. That's such a great way to explain it. You went to the hardware store for the 4th time. We're like, fuck it, man. Give me the kit, and I'll just take the pieces I need from the kit.
Yeah.
I don't care how much it costs.
And they're like,
My wife's sweating me, call the plumber. Like, I want to fix it myself, but I keep coming here for one-off parts. Just give me the kit.
okay, did you try to unclog the drain first?
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
That? What's that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You just push the thing down and the water goes in.
Yeah. It's a push stop now. The drains are now. You don't lift the lever. It's fine.
It's the 90s, man.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
You were just plunging a wall, basically.
Yeah, it's good. Super humbling. And I was like, I just told him right there. It was another good opportunity.
Did you have
to tell
a
him,
feeling of like, I'm almost done with video games?
No.
I'm going to be too old. This is it.
No, because I love playing them. And objectively, some of that stuff is hard. And it was just a moment where I was like, I can't figure this out. I'm overthinking this.
Yeah.
I haven't played this enough to like feel rehearsed and like knowing what my options are. So I was like, I know I'm overthinking this.
Uh-huh.
And it took a refreshing young mind of a child to go, it's a simple answer, Dad. So there you go. I mean, it's like, that's going to happen more and more and more and more and more, which I like because you want your kids to be better than you. You want your kids to improve upon what you've done in the world. But when it happens right in front of you, it's not the greatest feeling in the world.
No, it's not the best. You're obsolete.
Just spread my ashes somewhere respectfully. That's all I ask you, son.
Yeah. I'm aware
You
that
sweet boy.
I'm aware that I'm just an episode in a very long show called Humanity, but I don't need to know that we're starting the third act.
God, and the longer we go, doesn't it feel like it's a blooper episode? Like 101?
Yeah.
101st episode. Everyone took the week off, by the way. Here's all the stuff that we did wrong.
Yeah, they on strike for this one because nobody seems to be working on this one.
Just the editor sat and had some fun with all the clips that they marked.
Man. It's a clip show.
Yeah, they marked a bunch of clips, and here they are.
Wow.
Anyway, there you go, man. You will be humbled by your children. And for me, a couple days before I have a birthday, my 8-year-old son just humbled me.
Humbled you.
Humbled me. There we go.
Yeah, I think I had a small flash of that with my dog. We didn't have a rematch, so whatever. But
With your dad?
With my daughter.
Oh,
where
your daughter.
She was like at the pool at my parents'. She had this moment.
A
where she was
rematch?
like,
What is that?
a fist fight. Bare knuckle on
Yeah.
the stones.
She slapped me.
Barefoot at 115. I mean, we were roasting.
Who can stand there the longest and then get
It was-
peeled
it was
off?
all fast feet. No, swimming in the pool. She was like, "I want to swim from one end back," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she was like, "She's half my height."
Which is scary.
A little bit more.
Yeah,
No,
because
no, she's more than that. She's like 4 foot. I don't know, 4'3" or something. But she was like, "I'm gonna start in the middle of the pool," and I was like, "That's fair." Because if you start
Sure.
next to me, you're smoke.
yeah.
And we did it. We did the race, and it was one of those things where I took it easy, like total tortoise in the hair. Like took it easy at first, and I was like, "Oh, she's got some speed on her." So I turned it up.
She floats, by the way.
Yeah, she was just That's the other thing.
That's the natural ability she has. Whereas you and I get in the water, and it's already like, okay, stay afloat.
I look like Samwise Gamgee in the Fellowship of the Ring, where he just sinks to the bottom, and you're like, I didn't know that people could do that, and now I'm at the edge where I go, people do that.
When your feet are that big,
Yeah.
then you might as well just have cinder blocks attached to
Eat
them.
the way when you make your stomach just a bag of rocks. If it feels like a bag of rocks, it's probably a bag of rocks.
My kids are in swimming lessons now, and they go, do a starfish, and they lay on their back, and it's like widespread arms and widespread feet. And I'm like, I can do a starfish, and I do, and it's like my feet are hanging.
Your ankles are being pulled down by the Grim Reaper.
It's certainly what it looks like, and definitely what it feels like. And I'm like, my face is above where I'm floating.
But my daughter beat me by like one hand grab at the end. Like we both reached for it like photo finish, and I was like, "Oh, let's."
And her self-confidence
something
just
else.
went through the
She's pumped.
roof of
She's
Palm
pumped.
Springs. Yeah,
And she's a really fast swimmer. But I was just like, "Oh, okay." Now the dad and me wants to turn up the heat, but we never got around to it. But it was definitely that reminder.
no, we're not coming in for snacks.
I was like, the first time,
we made the second heat.
it hasn't happened yet, but it's not. I feel like I'm going back to the gym, so maybe this will stall it a little longer. But my daughter still can't beat me in a foot race. but it's like
You heard it here first. July 26th, 2023.
I'm just saying I'm aware that I can see the other side of the hill. And it doesn't, and the decline is not going to actually help my speed.
No, it's not. Once it's official, it's probably a pretty quick submission and a big white flag.
That's when, like, this will actually go right nicely into my dumb dad moment. Because it's like when older, like I'm saying we're older, when older people.
How dare you?
Do the thing where they know they can't. So they just, they're smart enough to just be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm still at the point where maybe.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, especially physically, any sort of athletic kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm still in I don't want to admit that I can't do it camp.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to the parkour gym.
No. Sounds fun, though, doesn't it? Kind of sounds fun, doesn't it?
Well, they don't sell kneecaps at the front desk. So I'm not interested.
It's like buying a mulligan in the clubhouse.
It's like, how many cassettes do you want?
Did you throw a couple of patellas on the whole receipt there? And
what are those sleeves of cigarettes called?
Carton
of cigarettes. To get carton of kneecaps. God, how many you go through a day?
Yeah, well, I've been to the trampoline park before. I've seen what can happen.
I'm up to 4 packs a day.
If you could just replace them magnetically.
Yep.
All right.
You replace them like Iron Man's little arc reactor. Just.
When I showed my son Iron Man this year, and they did the camera trickery where his it's like a fake body, and he's upright, but they kind of his body's like laid out.
Right, he's replacing the reactor.
Right, and replacing the reactor. And so Gwyneth Paltrow's like reaching down into his chest to hook it up, and he's like, "Just don't touch the wall." Don't, that whole thing.
Yeah.
My son was like, he's like sweating watching it because he's like. And then we watched the whole scene. She like does it. She touches the edge. He's like, "Gah! I'm gonna go into cardiac arrest," but she ultimately like attaches it, and there's goo and everything. And he was like, "I know that wasn't real, but that looked really gross, and it made me really afraid." I was like, "Yeah, man, that's." And I told him, I was like, "He's sort of almost standing up, and then there's what's called a prosthetic," and I kind of explained it to him. He's like, "Yeah, that." However they did that, it looked really good.
I can promise you, nobody's going to put their hand in your chest, and if they are, you'll be asleep.
I know. The whole thing is like, what did they do in that cave? What did they just remove his sternum? So that's gone. Ribs are gone. Where did those go? They just cut a hole with a hole saw?
He's a really good doctor.
He's a really good doctor. In the middle of nowhere with rusty tools.
Speaking of rusty tools, me.
Well done.
So we went, like I said, visiting my parents, and it was still very nice. We got very lucky with the weather, even though it was in the 100 and teens.
100 and teens.
100 and teens. Yeah. It was overcast and it was windy at night, which really cooled the pool, because visiting my parents at this time of year is really iffy, because even when you go in the pool, it can be like bathwater, like really warm bathwater, where you get in, you go, this is technically better than nothing. But
yeah, it's 118 outside and you get in a 90-degree pool. It's like, it's fine for 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we got really lucky because the breeze and stuff, it cooled the water. So it's like, oh, it was nice. But still, we were there for 4 days, and my mom had this idea. She's like, there's a new, and I made an Instagram story about it, but there's a new ice rink, and it is the stadium for the Coachella Valley Firebirds.
Uh-huh. I mean, it makes sense to put an ice rink and an ice hockey team in the middle of hell on earth, where it's just couldn't be any hotter. You couldn't imagine it being any hotter.
I was shocked the outside walls weren't just solar panels. Every inch of that place. How do you keep that place cold?
Yeah. It's 30 feet thick.
Yeah. It's 300 feet underground.
Yeah.
You have to take an elevator.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's the Firebirds. They're the minor league, or that's the right term in hockey, for the team for the Seattle Kraken. So I don't know if my mom had told me that ahead of time. I think she was just saying it was a minor league team.
Sure.
But then we
I know it's like minor league, or it's like the league right below the NHL, which is like from where I'm from, like Silver Tips and Tacoma Stars and stuff. Like they're right below the league, and that we were always kind of promised as Seattle, like they were always like, you're gonna get an NHL team when you get a stadium. There will be an NHL or something like that. And then the Kraken now has been like 2 years an NHL team.
Yeah. So it was this. There's this place. It was really pretty, brand new stadium. It was, a gorgeous building. And then my mom was like, they just have open skate from this time to this time. And I was like, that's a great idea. That'd be something so fun to do. Getting like a gigantic AC like on ice. Like,
right? Yeah.
Didn't think I was doing that with my weekend, which is why it's my dumb dad moment. Because I posted it in stories. And so I get there and they're like, how many? And I look at my parents and they do that thing where they go, oh, absolutely not.
Oh, not doing.
We're
not,
not.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. And I was like,
now, quick side question. Like you're from Boston and everything. Is that like a thing in Boston? Like Seattle, it only was because figure skating is popular, and it wasn't a thing. It was like ice arenas, and you could like find one to go skating, but like not like Canada or anywhere else where it's like hockey's a focus. Is it like that in Boston? Is it a focus? Did every kid play hockey when you were a kid?
No, not every kid played hockey, but a lot of them did. I didn't.
You did.
I'm a comedian. I didn't excel at almost anything. Certainly not walking with wheels.
So you also never rollerbladed as a kid, is what you're saying?
I might have tried it like once or twice.
Bro, let me tell you something. All it took was like me and my brother seeing Mighty Ducks, and it was like, I need some rollerblades like yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, I don't never got inspired by sports movies. Just didn't happen. My dad was a big sports guy.
Yeah.
So naturally, my kids will probably be into sports and hate comedy, I assume.
Yeah, there you go.
Trend
exactly.
Of pushing away your father continues. But yeah, so we went there, and I was like, yeah, I'll let's go. So my dad let me borrow like a hoodie. But again, I came to my parents knowing it's going to be, the low was 90 at night at my parents' house.
Yeah, while you're quote unquote sleeping.
You're sleeping, which is just like sweating, being still and sweating.
When it's that hot outside and you have like a sheet, you just have the sheet.
Yeah.
Only the sheet.
Only on one leg.
Only on one leg from your hip down to your knee, and it's still like, God, stop.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this thing is made of wet paper.
Overwhelming.
Like, so naturally, I only brought
clothes to survive in the desert.
Exactly. I only brought clothes to survive in the desert.
Yeah.
I had shorts and t-shirts and shorts and flip-flops. Did bring some socks, which is important. But then I posted in stories. So I looked ridiculous. I mean, I was a guy in like cut off jean shorts on an ice rink. Looking,
and a hoodie.
I know I said I don't play sports, but I can at least make this reference. I ice skate like Tom Brady runs. I mean,
whoa.
I will say it. It is not fun to watch. Everyone's a little worried you're going to get hurt. And I was making a lot of faces. And I mean, the best part of the best part of that entire thing, I mean, if I want to get sentimental, it was really cute watching my daughter kind of fall in love with it, doing it the first time. That was really fun.
Watching your kids like do something that they didn't even know was like a thing you could possibly even do is pretty fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. And her and my wife went around a million times.
Can your wife skate?
I couldn't keep up. She's probably skated as much as me, but she just took to it better.
Yeah.
So the two of them were just going around a bunch of times. It went well. My favorite part, and it was like my son, who's pure chaos. They have these like, they have those like walkers for kids. It just looks like a shield that you'd put on the ground, like a riot shield, or a walker with walls. You know what I mean? Like an old person walker, but it has walls in front.
Yeah, it's like the bumpers of bowling. You know,
yeah.
You hold on to this thing, it'll be way harder to fall down.
Yeah. So my son was using that, but still was really nervous and slipping. And I was like, "Oh, buddy!" The best part was me getting on there and then just like ripping through the ice because it is helping me not fall.
It instills confidence in even you.
It instills confidence. So, I mean, we were ripping through, but then he was just like, I can't do this. And he cut out early, and then I did it a couple times. But, I mean, it was just dumb dad moment after dumb dad moment. I mean, I looked terrible.
Did you fall?
I didn't fall. And I skated.
Really?
I've gone like maybe 4 or 5 times. It's not been a lot.
How many times have you ever been rollerblading ever in your life?
I don't know, 2.
And then ice skating 4 times in your life? Yeah.
And they were all like a few years apart.
Yeah. So it always feels new and uncomfortable every time. Yeah.
So I didn't fall this time, which was shocking. And I wasn't like I was gripping the sides the whole time. Like I was going around and I was like, oh, I got lucky on that one. The knees didn't give out.
Yeah.
But I did have a funny dumb dad moment. Top of the dumb dad moment was my wife took a break. I went around a couple times with my daughter. And then we stopped to talk to my parents. And I turned around. Next thing I know, my daughter's gone again. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh, okay. She's just.
You look up. She's like skating backwards. That's 2, motherfucker.
Yeah, right. My wife was like, "Are you not gonna go after her?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, "I'll go after her if and when she falls. Like that's when I'll go check on." Because she'd fallen a bunch of times and gets up every time. Didn't get hurt, and she
floats there too.
And then I realized, I have to go get her now, and she fell the farthest point from me. Like in the oval that is the ice rink. Oh, yeah. It was perfect straight line diagonal. You couldn't be any farther.
Northwest is southeast.
So now this guy, this person who looks like he's been wearing high heels for the first time for 12 hours straight is just like his foot is a blister and is now just like, I don't know. I don't want to say gliding because that's too pretty of a word.
Okay.
I looked like a wounded duck trying to get away, like
like a baby deer trying to walk for the first time.
Yeah, but that's not fair to them.
Yeah, because they don't have intention. They have no speed. They don't have their intention is not speed.
Yeah, and they just woke up.
They took the first breath a second ago.
First breath, and they're like, I guess we got to get going at this.
Now save mom.
I looked like I had a human being on my back the whole time. Of
Okay.
Equal or greater weight than me. I looked like I was required to carry the Invisible Man that whole day. And it was on my face
but
and
don't
body.
tell anybody.
The face looked like it, too.
Also, by the way, you're ice skating today.
Yeah. My ankles looked like boomerangs. It was none of it was great.
Can you go so you said you've only been on rollerblades a couple times in your life. Is that because you like went to like skate park? You go like roller rinks? Did you do that? Like
my mom said she brought us to roller rinks. I don't recall that, so I'm guessing that was when I was really young.
You blocked it out.
I blocked it. I fell and everyone pointed and laughed. And they're jerks. And that's when I became a comedian. No, I really don't remember it at all.
That's the day I told
No, my brother had rollerblades. So when I like grew into them, I tried them a couple times. And I was like, no.
Yeah. I think I prefer jokes.
I like the bones in my arms the way they are.
Yeah. In the same amount of pieces that they're in.
Yeah. I will remain an indoor kid. Nice try. So that's what it was. My dumb dad moment was attempting to, I don't know, be what I wasn't, be what I'm not. I mean,
I don't know. I reject it. You're showing your kids you're willing to try something new. You looked like you were trying something new, and they were trying something new. That's good. That's healthy, man.
I looked like
you should have fallen to show them that it's okay to fall. You should have just eaten it hard.
I think what I did to my knees that day, they'll see me fall sooner rather than later. Just getting up.
The scariest thing about ice skating is like, and again, I said my brother and I, we had rollerblades as kids, and we really learned how to rollerblade. We loved Mighty Ducks. We were the perfect age.
Yeah.
To where it was like, that's cool. I'm going to do that. And they rollerbladed to practice, and we wanted to learn rollerblading, and rollerblading was a thing right at the right time. So we our driveway, our in the garage, like wherever. We did it all the time. So we got really comfortable on it. And it really does translate to ice skating. It feels exactly the same. It really does. Mm-hmm. Conversely, I'm not very good at roller skating. Like whenever I went to a roller rink for a birthday party or something, and I'm on like the 4 wheels, that felt clunky and weird.
Oh, interesting.
Whereas the inline felt like more comfortable. I was used to like how that felt.
Okay.
But it all still feels like rentals can't get it tight enough.
Uh-huh.
But when you fall on ice skates, you put your hands out, your hands disappear and your face still goes towards the ice because it's slippery. That's the thing that's scary about falling on ice. You kind of, because here's the thing, like when you learn how to ride a bike, when you learn how to skateboard, when you learn how to roller skate or rollerblade or whatever, part of it, which you maybe don't realize you're doing while you're learning how to do these things, is you're sort of also learning how to fall. The more you do it, the more risks you take. If you try a new trick, you go off a little ramp or something, you sort of learn how to fall. It's just as important as learning how to skate or bike or whatever. I don't have that. I'm very comfortable in an inline situation, but it still makes me really nervous.
Everyone's comfortable not falling.
Well, no, what I mean is like I'm comfortable in an inline situation because it feels like the same way rollerblades felt as a kid, and I did that a lot. I've only done ice skating so many times, less than 20 times in my life.
Sure.
But as soon as I strap them on and hit the ice, I feel comfortable going forward and everything. But like learning how to fall is different because ice is slippery.
Ice is slippery.
That makes it's a little bit more intimidating to know that like if you just put your hands out when you're going to fall, like you would anything else, they just slip away from you. So it's scarier to me to fall on ice than anything because you're not done falling once you fall.
Not that concrete is any better, but also falling on ice is falling on a space that has zero give. Like you fall, and it's just there to greet you as hard as possible.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying, but like concrete, you fall a couple times and it doesn't give, and your hands are hamburger meat, like because you stuck your hands out, that kind of thing. So then you realize, don't do that again, and then you roll when you fall or something. But that just does not translate to ice, and so
because you're not falling, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But it was fun. I mean, I would
probably
love to go
do it
here.
again. And the good news is they do sell cartons of kneecaps. So,
there you go. Yeah. Sign up for memberships. You get 10% off your next carton.
Yeah. Use the code DUMBDAD. 10% off your next kneecap.
10% your next kneecap order.
I think that's a good place to leave it.
That's good.
Guys, if you have some not ice skating tips, I don't want them. If you have dumb parent moments.
Ice skating tip is
you
don't have to do it.
So many in the DMs. So many. Like I was starting my own league.
Well, because you had posted the clip. Yeah.
Because I posted the clip.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding, guys. It was funny. I appreciate it. But if you do have your dumb parent moments, email us, dumbdadpod@gmail.com, or DM us at the Dumb Dads on Instagram. Twitter, I guess. X. What are we calling it now?
Threads. I have no idea, man.
Forget I said that.
Whatever.
At the Dumb Dads on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Threads.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube is where you can watch the full episode of this podcast and see some of other videos. So check that out and subscribe. We are coming up on our 200th episode of the podcast. So
it's going to be, we're going to go for it. We'll just say that. The teas will come faster and sooner.
The 200th episode might be only, we've been discussing it. It sounds like the 200th episode will only be on YouTube from what we're planning on doing. So it might be
a
live event. It might not.
It's going to be a hot episode, I'll say that.
The idea of what we're going to do won't translate to an audio format. It wouldn't be fun to listen to.
You don't even know that. You don't know that.
I feel pretty confident. So anyway, subscribe to our YouTube.
We're teasing our 200th episode of our podcast, which is an audio-only platform going, it's probably not going to translate to audio.
Why, I'm just saying, the podcast does, and if you're only listening to this and you don't come on to the YouTube page, this is your window. I'm letting you in.
This is your window, yeah.
We'll remind you, it's exclusive content.
Yeah, it's going to be exclusive.
So check all that out. Thanks to @Verdue, and thank you, as always, to my delightful wife, Annie, for editing this podcast. Evan, do you have a joke to get us out of here?
Yeah, I got one for you. Ready? Here he goes. Why do fish swim in salt water?
Why do fish swim in salt water?
Yeah.
Well, they don't. A lot of them are freshwater fish. There's many, like a betta, for instance, is a typical household fish. Goldfish is a freshwater fish. I found a flaw in this question.
If you're still here, it's because pepper makes them sneeze.
They don't have lungs.
Or noses.
Okay, bye. Welcome to the world, little one. Welcome to life.
How do I stop this?